This week, the sun within us, consciousness, life, activates the 40th I Ching. The transformational path of this frequency moves us from the shadow of exhaustion to the highest vibration of divine will, and it's through the path of resolve. We live in a time of exhaustion. We live in a time of excess. And excess is the dilemma of this 40th I Ching shadow frequency of exhaustion. There are other times in human evolution where excess ruled. For example, the French Revolution or the collapse of the British monarchy in the late 1700s. These were times in which those in power became so self-indulgent that they ignored those at the other end of the spectrum. And the gap between rich and poor became so disastrous. And the rest, well, it's history. Thousands of years to the monarchy came to a bloody end. History reflects these patterns so clearly. Today we live in a more civilized society, but the patterns are still similar. And these are times that morally questionable people often rise to power. A culture of excess breeds lack, which leads to less resources, which leads to starvation, not just of food, of values, which leads to exhaustion, both individually and collectively. And that is something to contemplate, the notion of collective exhaustion, because we tend to think of exhaustion as individual exhaustion. Let's extend this exhaustion to the whole planet. We are exhausted of natural resources. We are exhausted of morals. We are exhausted of our spirit. So it's not just you, it's the whole planet, the culture, the whole. Have you ever felt the exhaustion deep down to the level of your inner being, your spirit? The fabric of our civilization today, it leaves us thirsty for meaning, for something noble. So this shadow stalks our communities and our daily life. And most of the time, we don't realize how thirsty we are. This I Ching is a special one. It's a direct route to the divine. And this is why it's the shadow of exhaustion. Because when we cut ourselves from our source, from our divinity, then we begin to die. We work to excess. We travel to excess. We think and worry to excess. We even become excessive seekers. We can't rest on a single flower long enough to drink from its nectar. I have an invitation to anyone who's drawn to the I Chings. If you're drawn to this wisdom, then consider staying with it. Make it a permanent ritual. Don't dilute it with hundreds of systems or teachings. Integrate those other paths, yes, but have the courage to stay with it and dig deep. And then it will nourish you, and you will find its nectar coming from the heart of the wisdom. And if you feel more drawn to another wisdom, then leave this one and stay with the other. The important thing is to stay consistent, to put down roots. And if you feel exhausted to the depths of your being, this is the answer to your prayers. The key is to stay with one single thing. The programming partner of the 40th I Ching is the 37th I Ching shadow of weakness. And we are weak when we spread our energy too wide, which is what happens. And this 40th I Ching is all about learning not to waste energy. So consider viewing life through a bird's eye view and see how widely you spread your energy. Can you be that many things to that many people? How can you encompass that much? There is a ruthlessness needed to tackle this shadow. You will have to cut some deadwood out of life. You are going to need to get rid of some things, some commitments. So consider this carefully. Take your time. Don't rush. Rushing is the whole damn problem. Slow down and be considerate of your own energy. Let the God inside you decide what is truly meaningful and nourishing to your spirit, to the essence within you. Excess is a behavioral pattern that we can all find easily in life. We just learn to cut out what isn't feeding or nourishing the soul, our spirit, our whole being. We tend to do too much in a certain area and too little in another area. That is often the sign of excess. Perhaps our working life is fulfilling, but our relationships aren't. Perhaps we give too much time to our spiritual path, or perhaps we don't give any time to a spiritual path. Maybe we don't even know what a spiritual path is. And perhaps our family are the ones that pay the price of our absence. Only we know where the excess lies. So when we begin to trim the excess in life, things soon find a healthier balance. It's like eating less. The body breathes a sigh of relief. We're finally giving it a break. So it begins to readjust itself to the rhythms that it yearns for, to be in harmony. Excess also commands our senses. We taste too much. We watch too much. We listen too much. We speak too much. We overwhelm our senses with stimuli. The ancient Taoists called the senses the 5 thieves. We have forgotten how to do nothing. We have forgotten how to be quiet, how to be simple. How often do you go out to the garden and light a fire and sit by it? Maybe you don't even have a garden. How often do you go for a swim in a wild river or ocean? How often do you wake up early to see the sunrise or listen to the birds sing? How often do you go out at night and consider the stars? How often do you go for a walk with no purpose or reason? How often do you sit in silence with a candlelight with someone you love? Do you see what I'm getting at? These are the nourishing moments in life that feed our soul, our spirit, our essence, the whole of life. And these are the good things, the magical moments. And life can be filled with such beautiful moments like these if we just make room for them. So get busy trimming. Trim off the fat. Trim what does not nourish the body, the mind, your spirit, the whole of life. It's never too late to be reborn. The 40th gift, the way to alchemize the shadow and raise the vibration. Resolve. Perhaps you can see how the gift of resolve works. It takes resolve to stay with something that feeds our soul, our spirit. We have to change our habits to habits that fuel the health of our spirit, our inner being, rather than habits that drain our spirit. The secret is in the balance, in the subtlety. To come close to God, we learn subtlety and refinement. We can enjoy the fruits of life, both measure. There are times where we can have available to us more than we need. Life allows that. Life encourages that. But again, in the right moments, the right circumstances, not all the time, not every day. The gift of resolve is your genius. It's to fix your eye on a mark and to bring it into being. It's to follow something through all the way. Resolve is to allow life to flow in the direction it's designed to go. We each are here to experience and share being alive with our unique perspective. And our job is to discover it, allow it to be revealed. Our job is to get out of the way so we can see what we came here to witness, our destiny. And when you do decide finally to create it, to follow it, then you will be flooded with the gift of resolve. You will get the energy that will sustain you in your task, and it will not drain you. It will keep filling you, replenishing you with life force energy from within. To do the soul's work is to be filled with life, with enthusiasm, and to place yourself in the exact position that is needed to gain support. Everything will simply come to you effortlessly. If we only knew how much the divine is seeking us, When we sever the connection with the divine within, the higher impulses, they pursue us relentlessly. They do everything at their disposal to get our attention, to correct our path. That's why we suffer, because we're not listening. The programming partner here is the 37th gift of equality, which is a mirror to the 40th gift of resolve. They're opposites that complement each other perfectly, opposite polarities. Equality is about harmonizing, having a balance in life, in many areas of life, and resolve is about single-mindedness. To bring that equalization is to feed your community in equal measure to the self, to feed the body and its needs as much as our spirit, to feed the inner and the outer in equal parts. The 40th gift is resolve, but again, not to excess. A part of resolve is to flow. Life provides distractions. Life provides natural breaks. So create and flow with what you feel called in creating. But when life calls you away, especially a human moment, take it. Take the break. This is the gift of taking breaks. The breaks need to be balanced with what we're creating. Otherwise, life is over and we have no time for enjoyment, for savoring its beauties. Most work 48 weeks a year. And if they're lucky, vacation for 2 weeks. What kind of balance is that? What kind of life is that? But also, don't get caught up on the other end of the spectrum either. When we follow and flow our inner mission, there are natural cycles of rest and exploration, and then there are cycles of work. And we learn to attune to these cycles in our own way. It's a constant flow. So being alert, aware to our tendency towards excess. Resolve gives everything a perspective. It drives us along the trajectory that is natural for us. This is the great gift of relaxation, which is interesting, how to bring together resolve and relaxation, not by taking shortcuts, but through balance between our need for rest and our need for work, creation. So what is restful for your soul, your spirit? And I don't mean watching TV. I mean what is restful for your spirit, your inner being. Meeting someone who absolutely loves you and honors your essence, who you truly are, that's restful. Being surrounded by what you enjoy, your children, animals, or garden, that's restful. Doing the work you love, the soul's work, your inner mission with the people you love, that's restful. Rest can be everywhere when your resolve is not to give in to excess. And having this gift also means you can inspire others. When a stressed out person meets a deeply fulfilled person, a powerful exchange takes place. You make sure that you're the second person, and the world around you will begin to change. The 40th city, the highest vibration, divine will. Behind this 40th I Ching lies something extraordinary. This is the codon ring of alchemy, a group of codes of I Chings that can be described as the guardians of divinity. The 6th I Ching, peace. The 47th I Ching, transfiguration. The 63rd I Ching, truth. And the 40th I Ching, divine will. And alchemy means we have to transmute the shadow frequency, the darkness into light. The 4 cities all describe direct paths to the divine. This is why the gift here is resolve, because this I Ching carries grace. If you have this 40th I Ching in a prominent place in your profile, your energetic design from birth, for example, the sun, moon, or north node, then it signifies that in this lifetime you will have the rare opportunity to achieve transcendence. Divine will means that you need one quality, surrender. The path to divine will revolves around this quality. Whatever happens to you, you must surrender to it, and you must surrender peacefully rather than forcefully. If it is your destiny, your dharma, to travel this far, then grace will make all the arrangements for you. A space will appear for you to go within. Support will come so you could take the journey without distraction. You will not need to force any of these things. They will simply appear effortlessly. Perhaps even a teacher, a guiding light will appear. And if these things don't come your way, then don't force it. Don't try to make it go that way. It may be in the next life. And if you don't surrender to the natural flow, then you will cause all kinds of problems for yourself, the body. The deepest surrender we could come to in life is that we can't choose. This is what the city is all about. Any city. We have to let go of our individual willpower and trust in the will of the whole, divine will. If you carry the 40th I Ching, you're a dragon slayer, a dragon healer to transmute. For humanity to be truly healed, to enter into the next epoch, we have to look into the eyes of death. We have to slay death, transmute death. That's the dragon. That is our deepest fear. Only when we have seen through the illusion of death can the new age truly begin. This is not something light I'm saying here. The 40th city will put you through the most horrendous challenges. You will have to prove your courage over and over again. That's why the 40th city is the path of aloneness. It's an inner path, and you may need a living master to stand by you. But ultimately, you will have to travel this path on your own. There's no need to be afraid, because everything that happens to you and around you is happening for you. The will of God, the will of the whole, and divine will is here to help you relax. Relax so deeply in these bodies that you will begin to shine with light. Divine will is within all the 64 cities. Divine will is all there is. Whomever you are, wherever you are, one day you too will have to surrender your individual ego into the whole. This is the path of divine alchemy. I empower you this week to create space, get to higher awareness, notice your thoughts, feel all the sensations fully that come up in the body. Shine the light of awareness to exhaustion. And if you're spending your energy wisely, breathe in, breathe out. Remember, love yourself and choose to be blessed.